Criminal justice studies the law enforcement system and operations. Criminal justice, on the other hand, refers to established systems for dealing with crime, specifically detection of crime, detaining of criminals, and criminal prosecution and punishment. Criminal justice is directly associated with law enforcement, while the criminology focuses on the sociological and psychological behaviors of criminals to determine why they commit crime. Criminology deals more with the theory of why people behave the way they do by gathering the available pieces of information and analyzing it. Five pillars represent as a tool to maintain peace and order, prevent and control crimes, and to give justice to every person. These pillars started at law enforcement. They enforce the law to prevent and control crime or prevent the anatomy of crime, in which they can prevent crimes just by their presence. Example here is the criminals will be hindered in doing a crime if they saw a law enforcers patrolling around the place, and by that, the motive and opportunity of the criminals to commit a crime will be prevented. Aside from preventing crimes, they are also in charge of arresting criminals. Next, the case will be moved to the prosecution if the suspect is arrested, in which prosecutors will analyze and evaluate the evidence that presented. Once that the evidence is valid and strong enough, they can now file a formal paperwork to charge the suspect with a specific crime or crimes. Third pillar is court, where the case will be moved here if prosecutors determine a probable cause. This court is truly independent, just and speedy to the end that no innocent person is convicted and no guilty man is acquitted. But there is a chance that these criminals will be reverted or returned to the community if the case may be diverted, misled, where the evidence is not enough for conviction of the offenders. Fourth pillar is the correction, where the accused will be moved. Here, if it is found guilty, they rehabilitate and reintegrate the offenders into the mainstream of society and uphold their human rights and dignity through speedy legal administrative process and provision of scientific and spiritual program. The last pillar is community, working for peace and order in partnership with the other pillar and to integrate plan of action to combat crimes and promote justice. That depends on what you mean by each operative term. I define a criminologist as one holding a high degree in criminology, sociology, or any related field, and who has a primary interest in the study of crime. The criminologist is a theoretician. A criminal justice expert, on the other hand, is typically a practitioner. It is one that has high level education, but it may be in areas other than criminology. The focus of the criminal justice expert is on policy, practice, procedure, and methodology. It is considered as the weakest pillar in the Philippine criminal justice system because they fail to reform offenders and prevent them from returning to criminal life, and the correction system doesn't rehabilitate anyone. It doesn't correct the root cause of crime, but exacerbates it. Teaches people the system and allows them to succeed in the prison system, rather than give them legitimate skills they can use outside of prison walls to be successful in society. Crime is the event that calls for the operation of the criminal justice system. When a crime is committed, it disturbs the tranquility and harmony of the society. Such event calls upon the police to initiate police intervention by way of investigation or apprehension of those who violated the law. Prosecution to prosecute the case. The court to determine the guilt of the accused, and the rest of the system follows as incumbent upon the rule in the criminal justice process.